Hey everyone, welcome back to VeloView. Today, we're taking a full deep dive into one of the most legendary muscle cars ever to roll out of Detroit, the 1970 Plymouth Barracuda, and of course, the fire-breathing performance version known simply as the CUDA. This car wasn't just another muscle car, it was a symbol of American power, freedom, and attitude during an era when horsepower ruled the roads. The 1970 model year marked a complete transformation for the Barracuda, taking it from a modest compact into a bold, aggressive, full-fledged performance icon that would become one of the most sought-after classics in history. When Plymouth introduced the redesigned Barracuda in 1970, it was a clean break from the past. Gone was the old A-body design shared with the Valiant. In its place came Chrysler's new E-body platform, shared with the Dodge Challenger but shorter in wheelbase, giving the Barracuda a sportier, more compact look. The proportions were perfect for the muscle car world, low, wide, and menacing. The car's long hood, short rear deck, and muscular fenders gave it the kind of stance that turned heads the moment it appeared on the street. It was a car built to make a statement, and it did so effortlessly. The styling was a mix of raw aggression and clean design, with details that still make collectors and enthusiasts fall in love today. The 1970 Barracuda lineup came in several versions, from the base model to the more refined Grand Coupe and the high-performance CUDA. Each offered something unique, but the CUDA was the one that truly defined the nameplate. It came with performance-oriented features like a dual scoop hood, optional shaker intake, sport stripes, and CUDA badging that told everyone this car wasn't built for quiet Sunday drives. And let's not forget the color palette, those high-impact paint options like Plum Crazy, Tour Red, Limelight, Vitamin C, and in Violet made sure the car stood out as much for its looks as for its performance. Back in the day, you could spot a CUDA from a mile away, gleaming in bold colors that perfectly captured the wild spirit of the muscle car era. Inside, the Barracuda surprised a lot of people. It wasn't just a stripped-down racer, Plymouth gave it a touch of sophistication to match its power. The cabin was spacious and driver-focused, with a wraparound dash that made everything within easy reach. You could choose between standard vinyl seats or upgrade to premium leather, especially in the Grand Coupe trim. The CUDA models often featured the Raleigh instrument cluster, which included a large tachometer and detailed gauges, the kind of setup every gearhead loves. The materials were sturdy, the seats were supportive, and the visibility was excellent for a car of its type. Every detail, from the steering wheel design to the shape of the shift knob, felt like it was made for performance enthusiasts who wanted to feel connected to the machine. Of course, what made the 1970 Barracuda and CUDA unforgettable were the engines that lived under those massive hoods. Plymouth offered one of the most exciting powertrain lineups of the entire muscle car era. The base models started with the 225 cubic inch slant 6 for those who cared about economy, but the real story began with the V8s. There was the reliable 318, the spirited 340, and the mighty 383. But the real legends were the 440 and the 426 Hemi. The 440 came in two forms, a 4-barrel version and the 446-barrel, which packed triple 2-barrel carburetors and delivered a whopping 390 horsepower with mountains of torque. And then there was the king, the 426 Hemi. Rated at 425 horsepower, it was the holy grail of muscle car engines, known for its hemispherical combustion chambers, dual carburetors, and a roar that could shake the ground. The Hemi, CUDA was a street-legal race car, pure and simple. The performance numbers were jaw-dropping for the time. A properly tuned Hemi, CUDA could rocket from 0 to 60 in around 5.5 seconds and run the quarter mile in the low 13s, making it one of the quickest production cars of its day. The sound alone was intoxicating, a deep, thunderous growl that announced its presence long before it arrived. Plymouth also equipped the CUDA with heavy-duty suspension, beefier brakes, and limited slip differentials to help handle all that power, though it was still very much a car of its time, built for straight-line performance more than corner carving. But that's exactly what made it special. It wasn't delicate or refined, it was raw, untamed, and thrilling in every sense. Driving a 1970 CUDA was an experience unlike anything else. It demanded respect from the driver. The steering was heavy, the clutch was firm, and the throttle response was immediate. It wasn't about comfort, it was about connection. When you pressed that gas pedal and felt the car surge forward, it reminded you what American muscle was truly about. The sound, the vibration, the sheer force, it was mechanical magic. Even today, stepping into a well-preserved or restored CUDA feels like traveling back in time to an era when cars were more than transportation, they were emotion and power on four wheels. Sadly, the glory days of the Barracuda didn't last long. The early 1970s brought new emissions regulations, skyrocketing insurance premiums, and the oil crisis, all of which spelled trouble for high-performance machines like the CUDA. By 1974, the Barracuda was gone, and with it, one of the brightest stars of the muscle car era. But that short production run only added to its mystique. Original Hemi, CUDAs, especially convertibles, became some of the rarest and most valuable muscle cars ever made. Some have sold for well over $1 million at auctions, turning what was once a street racer's dream into a collector's crown jewel. The legacy of the 1970 Plymouth Barracuda and CUDA continues to this day. It represents the peak of an era when carmakers chased performance with no compromises, when design and engineering were bold, fearless, and unapologetically loud. The car's appearance in movies, TV shows, and video games has kept its legend alive for new generations of car lovers. That unmistakable silhouette, the shaker hood trembling with every rev, and the deep exhaust note, all of it makes the CUDA one of the most admired classic muscle cars ever built. Owning or even seeing one in person is a reminder of what automotive passion looked like in its purest form. It's not about luxury or technology, it's about heart and horsepower. The 1970 Plymouth Barracuda was more than a car, it was a declaration of power, style, and individuality. Whether you admire it for its beauty, its performance, or its place in history, there's no denying that it stands as one of the greatest American cars ever made. So that's the complete, detailed look at the 1970 Plymouth Barracuda and the mighty CUDA, a car that defined an era and still inspires awe today. If you enjoyed this deep review, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to VeloView for more classic car stories, reviews, and automotive deep dives every week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.